Hello and welcome to an AI Producer tutorial. Today, we're going to talk about fixed layouts. Fixed layouts are used during broadcasts, which are run using a rundown template. They are meant to be used when you want to start a segment in a specific focus mode instead of letting AI choose the default focus mode to begin that segment. Now, these fixed layouts can either be selected from the default focus modes that AI Producer offers, or they can be custom layouts that you can create yourself ahead of the production. There's a full tutorial on how to create custom layouts, so go check that out if you haven't seen it already. An important thing to note here is that by choosing a fixed layout, you will automatically be putting that segment into manual mode, and there will be no switches in that segment unless you either activate the AI mode or make the switches for yourself. And for this tutorial, I created a series of custom layouts ahead of time that you will see me using during this mock broadcast that I will be running with my on-camera presenter bots. Remember, these are not real broadcasts taking place. They're just for the purposes of these tutorials. So the first thing I will walk you through is how to set up a rundown template using fixed layouts. And there are multiple tutorials on rundown templates, so go check those out if you haven't seen those already. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a new rundown template, and I'm going to create this one on the admin portal. So I click on rundown templates and I check that I am in the correct profile, which I am, Michael AIP Tutorials. To create a new rundown, I just click plus rundown and then I name it. I'll name this one fixed layout rundown. Click create. Click on it. And I want 6 total segments, so I will add 5 more here. So now I have 6 segments in my rundown. Okay, we'll start with segment 1. In order to select a fixed layout, you click into the production format menu, and it will bring up these options: presentation, talk show, panel discussion, fixed layout, video, bumper, or break. I will select fixed layout. And right here is the layout box that says no layout selected. I click on it, and then I'll need to select the layout set that I want to use. The 3 default layout sets are right here: presentation, talk show, and panel discussion. If I select any of these, it will bring up the default layout sets and allow me to select one of them. For example, if I click on presentation, it will bring up these 3 focus mode options that I could choose from. And I could pick any of these 3 to be my fixed layout for this segment. But since I created a bunch of custom layouts for this tutorial, I will be using those for all of my segments. So I will start by selecting the first layout set I made, which is titled Fixed Layout Set 1, which I created under the presentation format. And you'll see here that I customized 2 of the 3 focus modes and left the shared screen box unchanged. I will end up using both of these customized focus modes in this rundown, but for segment 1, I'm going to select this custom split screen where I have the presenter in portrait mode and the shared screen box to the right in 16:9. So I select it, and now you'll see it appear in the layout box. So now I can move on to my next segment. So I click on it. I'll title this segment Segment 2. And then I will repeat the same process as before and select my fixed layout in the production format menu. Click on the box and select the same custom layout set again. And for this segment, I'm going to select the second custom layout in my set, which is a full screen shot of a single presenter, but with some of the background showing to highlight one of my custom backgrounds. So I just click on it and it will appear here in my layout box. And speaking of custom backgrounds, I'm going to select one right now. I'll choose this one. And by having this selected, it will apply my branding settings on all segments, which will include my background and logo. I could obviously change them segment by segment if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave them both throughout the entire broadcast. Now we can move on to the next segment, which I will title Segment 3. I'll select Fixed Layout again. Click on the layout box. And this time, when I go to the Select Layout Set menu, I will select the custom layout set I made under the talk show format named Fix Layout Set 2, and I will select this layout, which is 2 presenters in portrait mode. And you'll see it appear here. Moving on to the next segment, I'll quickly title it Segment 4. Select Fix Layout, click on the box. Go back to that same set. And I'll select this split screen with all 3 presenters that I created with 1 large presenter box in the middle and 2 presenters in portrait mode on either side. Now moving on to the next segment. Segment 5. Again, select Fix Layout, click on the box. And for these next 2 segments, I'm going to use this set I made under the panel discussion format called Fix Layout Set 3. I'll select this one here for this segment. And now I will complete the final segment, which I will quickly name Segment 6. Click on Fix Layout, click on the box, find my custom set. And for this final segment, I'm going to select this custom layout I created, which is 3 presenters in portrait mode underneath a shared screen. I'll select both my bumpers. I'll select a starting soon bumper and an end slate bumper. I'll select run for duration of bumper. And then I'll hit save. Okay, so you just saw me set up a rundown template where I used only fixed layouts in each of my segments, but I just did that for the purposes of this tutorial. And obviously you can set up a rundown template where you're just using the standard production formats if you want and not using any fixed layouts. There are many options in terms of how to set up a broadcast with a rundown template, and I cover a lot of those in the other tutorials. Okay, so now I'm going to set the broadcast up, and as always, I create a new Teams meeting. I'll name it Tutorial Broadcast Fixed Layouts. Then I will invite my 3 presenter bots to the meeting, Matt, Lynn, and Sue, and hit send. As always, I open the meeting back up to add AI Producer. Click on the plus, select AI Producer. Hit save. Confirm that I'm in the correct profile, which I am. Select Broadcast. Select Rundown. Then I find my rundown, Fixed Layout Rundown. Make sure it's the correct one, which it is. And click Next. And now I am into the pre-broadcast settings. I'll go ahead and select my 3 on-camera presenters, Matt, Lynn, and Sue. I will hide presenter name overlay. I'm not going to worry about my start time because this is just a tutorial, but always remember to double check that. Then I click Next, which brings me to the rundown settings. And this is where I will quickly assign the correct presenters to the correct segments. For segment 1, I will select Matt Stewart as my on-camera presenter. I'll click on segment 2, and now I'll select Lynn as the presenter. For segment 3, I'll pick Lynn and Sue. For segment 4, I will need to select all 3 of them because there are 3 on-camera presenters in this custom layout. For segment 5, I will select Matt and Sue. And for segment 6, I will again need to select all 3 of them because there are 3 on-camera presenters in this custom layout. I quickly double check that my bumpers are correct, which they are, and my background and logo are correct, which they are. So I click on Next to get to my destination settings. I will just save this one to OneDrive since it's only a tutorial. I click Next. I double check all of my segments here. Click OK. And now I'm ready to get the broadcast going. Okay, so now everything is set up. I'm going to cut to that screen recording of the mock broadcast so I can talk you through everything I did during the production and show you how the fixed layouts look during a broadcast. So here I am joining the broadcast that you just saw me set up. And the first thing I do is click on the AI Producer app to bring the control panel into the meeting. And it appears over here on the right-hand side. I hit Prepare and wait to admit my on-camera presenter bots. And while I'm waiting for them to join, I make sure to start sharing the correct slide for my screen share. I admit them into the meeting. And you'll see the starting soon bumper begin to play, although I did deactivate the countdown overlay for this mock broadcast. But before I start the broadcast, I click into Rundown and quickly check that my rundown is correct, which it is. I could also assign my on-camera presenters as producers here if I wanted. I then go back to the main menu and I hit Start Broadcast. And you will see that the first fixed layout that I selected appears in the preview monitor with Matt as the on-camera presenter next to the shared screen. If I needed to remind myself of what was coming up visually in the next segment, I would just click into Rundown and look at the settings. I could, of course, change the presenter if I needed to for any reason right here, but I'm not going to do that. So once I'm ready to switch to the next segment, I just click on Go to Next Segment, which will bring up that single presenter shot of Lynn with a little bit of the custom background showing. I'll just keep advancing through the segments pretty quickly here so you can see all the different fixed layouts. I'll click on Go to Next Segment. And here is segment 3 with a split screen of Lynn and Sue, both in portrait mode. Now I'll click on Go to Next Segment and it will switch to that custom layout I made with one presenter larger in the middle with the other two presenters on either side in portrait mode. Just so you know, another way to advance segments or even to redo a segment is to click on this little play button right here. This happens to be my next segment, so I will click on the play button to advance it. It will ask me to confirm. I click OK. And here is another custom layout that we made earlier. And now I'll go to the final segment, which is the final custom layout that I created. But before I end this broadcast, I just want to point out that anytime during a broadcast with fixed layouts, you can make switches within a segment if you choose to by clicking on manual mode. And you would have all your switching options right here, including putting the broadcast on cruise control with the AI mode. But there are other tutorials that will teach you how to do all of that. So now I will end the broadcast by hitting Stop Broadcast, which will stop the broadcast. I confirm it, and now the broadcast has ended, which will trigger the End Slate bumper. So that's it for the tutorial on fixed layouts in a rundown template. Hopefully it was helpful, and make sure to check out our other tutorials on the AI Producer onboarding page. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.